Welcome, 3D modelers, to your week 2 video tutorials that will help you create your doghouse. So step 1 is, of course, going to sketchup.com and making sure that you are logged in so that when you save your doghouse, you will know where to find it in the future. So I'm going to go to My Apps and I am going to launch SketchUp for Web. I'm going to create a new simple template using feet and inches. And I'm going to delete my little woman because we don't need her in our doghouse. So we're going to use and practice a lot of the tools that you used last week to build your simple forms using those exact measurements, except this week you're lucky you don't have to create anything to specific dimensions. So you're simply going to start by drawing a rectangle on the ground that will be the base of your doghouse. So I'm going to click on the rectangle tool and I'm simply going to draw a rectangle. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see this better. I'm going to pan over. Okay, now I'm going to simply create a big box and then I'm going to cut that box up into my doghouse. So I'll show you what I mean by that. First, I'm going to push and pull to make a 3-dimensional box. Okay, now I'm going to draw on top of this box that I just created, which is something that you didn't do before. So I'm going to go to the pencil tool and I'm going to notice how, depending on where I move my pencil, a lot of things happen. So first, notice that the blue diamond attached to the pencil says that my pencil is on face. That means it's simply on that side of the box. So it'll happen over here also. On face again, okay? But if I move my pencil to the edge, it's gonna tell me that my pencil is on the edge, just so that I can be confident in where I am drawing. It will also show me that I'm at the end of a line. So if I'm like all the way in a corner, it will say end point. If I'm in the middle of a side, it will tell me that that's the midpoint. So it does a lot of measuring for you. It makes it really easy for you to know where you're drawing on your box. So a doghouse typically has a pitched roof, right? It has like a little triangular shaped roof. So I'm going to draw that on my box. I'm going to start in the middle and I'm going to draw down to one side. When I'm ready to create my line, I just click on the edge and it drew the line. Now I can do the same thing on the other side, and SketchUp is so awesome. It's going to tell me when I'm in line with the first line that I drew. So I can click there, and now you can see where my pitched roof is going to be. The magic of SketchUp is using the push-pull tool to cut things up and get rid of things. It makes it really easy. So instead of having to have drawn this pentagon shape out and then built that 3-dimensionally, instead I can just draw a big box and then cut it down to the shape of my doghouse. So I'm going to actually use the push-pull tool to get rid of these sections. So I'm going to click once and I'm going to push it away. And it will tell me when I get to the other side and I click and it disappears. It's awesome. It's super fun to do. So let me just rotate around here so we can do the other side. Push-pull tool, click once, push it away, click again. And now I have the shape of my doghouse. If I don't like the shape, like right now I'm feeling like it's kind of wide, I can redraw on top of this again and get rid of them. And I think I'm going to do that. There we go. I like this better. It looks a little more proportional. Okay, I'm going to continue drawing on this so that I can get a space in my doghouse for my dog to actually go inside. So I'm going to first create a rectangle. Now, again, you don't have to be making specific measurements. If you really wanted to, you could, but I'm not, just because it saves time. So I don't want this to be a barn. Right now it's looking very barn or garage-like. I want it to be a doghouse, and a doghouse usually has an arced opening. So I'm gonna use the arc tool. And there's a bunch of different arcs you can make, but we want a 2-point arc, which is this half circle right here. So if I click that, I have to tell SketchUp the 2 points that I want my arc to go from. So I'm gonna click on the left corner, then I'm gonna click on the right corner, and then when I move my pencil up, it starts to create that arc. So when I click, it places it, and now I have an opening for my doghouse that I can push and pull away. There we go. Now I have the basic shape of my doghouse. So after I've done this, now I can start to think about what I want my doghouse to look like in terms of materials and colors and things like that. So once you've built your doghouse to your desired size and shape, then you can go to the next video that will show you how to use the materials and change the style for your doghouse.